Thank y'all for tuning back in to your favorite channel, the channel to give you the most PBK9s, dog talk, and news for the day. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button and drop down in the comments like your brothers and sisters always do. Big salute and big shout out to all the dog lovers from one side of the world to the other side of the world, from one side of this country to the other side. We about to get into that news and that talk for the day. Got some of it for y'all brothers, got some of it for y'all sisters. You know, the way I always do it, man, PBK9 style. First thing I want to say, we're going to get into that. I got a Louisville dog fighting bus. We're going to get into that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that, but we're going to get into a little bit of dog talk first. Then we're going to get into that. You know what I'm saying? Them guys are really mad. Them guys are really mad because I didn't take that stuff with Triple J personal. I didn't have no personal vendetta against him. These guys sitting around the whole time mad at Triple J, and then the moment his name come up in a situation, they want to ride that wave to act like, they part of that situation. Or act like they part of, bringing the certain things to the light, Like what my brothers got to do, man, on some real, watch these brothers that be acting like they be cool with you. You know what I'm saying? They turn on you in the split of a second. Turn on you at a drop of a dime. It just is what it is, man. I just call it the way I see it, you know what I'm saying? Brothers having a hissy because this news keep going, man. Like I told you before, it ain't about one particular person. This dog game is bigger than one person. You wouldn't understand that, though, because a lot of y'all brothers coming from the bully gang, trying to understand the Pitbull game, and you jumping straight to 12th grade. You know what I'm saying? Start from the bottom, work your way up. Work your way up. You're trying to jump into 12th grade and you don't understand nothing about this stuff. It's a lot of y'all brothers mentioning that brother name and y'all not even bulldoggers. You're not even bulldoggers. You don't even know the purpose of me putting this news out for the bulldoggers. But everybody always have something to say. And the more I turn on YouTube, the more I see PBK name in the title. Name in the title. You got brothers out there that can't even pronounce my name. It done been a couple years and you can't pronounce the name yet. These brothers convinced me you wasn't in regular classes. And a lot of y'all that's on this YouTube shit that talk a lot of shit probably get a monthly check, mental monthly check. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. Got to call it the way you see it, man. When you see brothers that can't comprehend, when you see brothers that just don't understand, and it just seem like no matter what you do, they don't understand. It's something not right there. At the end of the day, y'all got to do what y'all got to do, and I'm gonna do what I'm doing, like I always do, man. PBK9s. Now, what I want to do, move on real quick. I want to ask brothers, what's wrong with these Chico Lopez dogs? Why are they screwing each other? And I'm not talking about one dog. I'm talking about a lot of his dogs have hormone problems to where they screw each other. The females jumping on the back of the males, humping and stuff. It's something in the genetics of them Chico dogs that got their hormones messed up. Maybe it's the breeding that he's doing. See, Chico, I asked you about the interview, but the thing is, the questions I got to ask, we're going to speak on them regardless if you don't want to come talk about it. Always give brothers opportunity to talk about certain things, but certain things we see. And we see a lot of these dogs hunching on each other. Hunching on each other. It's like to the point, anytime you see a dog hunching another pit bull on the YouTube, it got to be one of Chico dogs. bred dogs. And I'm just wondering, man, is it genetics? Is it steroids that's been used over a period of time in them dogs? What is it? You know, it's something in them. It's something in them. Now, I'm gonna speak on something from that documentary I put out just the other day. You know, now, brothers always find the craziest things to wanna. I tell you, this dog game is built on hate, and you ain't. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Okay, you sit there and heard them people on that documentary say Al White, which is the owner of Tab, was locked up for what he was locked up for, which and child abuse. And child abuse. But y'all miss over all that type of stuff. You miss over all that type of stuff. You worry about Boudreaux's son and all these other people and Mr. Which one of them guys they said had a girlfriend over there, had a boyfriend over there. I forgot which one it was. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Talking about his sex life. You know. Even Garner said something about his sex life. Because a man so-called dealt with men or something like that. Or whatever. But you don't put the light on what they say about the child abuse with Al White. Folks pick and choose around here. Folks pick and choose. That's the way it is in this dog game. You pick the folk you want to deal with, and you pick the folk you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Pick the folk you want to talk about. Right now, every last one of y'all, you know, the greenhorns, will break your damn neck. And some of them ones that claim they season, will break your neck to get over there and get a dog from that child abuser. But that's the dog society you living in. You know what I'm saying? That's the dog society you living in today. You know? Now, one thing I will say, man, a lot of y'all brothers is out there talking that talk and can't walk that walk. You know? Brothers don't want to hear stuff from brothers who never experienced that shit. You know? You can't tell me about something that you ain't never experienced, and you can't tell me how to move and you ain't never experienced it. You know? You never been through it. What the fuck I need to listen to you for? And that don't mean with dogs, that mean with anything. That's how some people look at certain situations. That's why it takes people that been through the same situation you've been through for certain people to pay attention to it. You know, you got brothers out there who never even bought an American Pitbull Terrier, and they jumping in these conversations with brothers who been Pitbulling their whole life. These brothers got the nerve to say they've been bulldogging since they've been seven years old, but can't name you one bulldog they had, can't name you one bloodline, a line of dogs they had. You know what I'm saying? Like, get real, man. Get real. Brothers want to hear stuff from people that been through it just like them. You know? So when I say that grass is green over there, but this grass over here never stopped growing. You know? And that grass over there look green. It ain't always going to be green as it look. When I say that, it's because I've been through it. When you say that, it's because you tree hugging. Or when the next person that haven't been through it say that, it's because you tree hugging. You know? But at the end of the day, things going to be the way things going to be. Bulldoggers going to bulldog. Tree huggers going to tree hug. Haters going to hate. None of them can't stop it. You know what I'm saying? None of them can't stop it. The most numbers they all getting is when they mention the Bay. Every last one of them. The most numbers they getting, besides the brothers who've been doing their own thing and not worried about none of that stuff, the most numbers they getting is when they mention the Bay. If they was getting 10 views, now they getting them 50 views. If they was getting 50, now they get 100. So I understand the struggle. But at the end of the day, a lot of y'all brothers, this all boils down to one thing. No dog credentials. No backbone on that dog talk that you're talking about. We can't help you breeding and selling and promoting champions that you don't know nothing about. The dog himself, and you don't know nothing about the pedigrees of the dogs. What's the purpose of you having a stacked pedigree when you can't tell me nothing about the dogs in the pedigree? You know, what's the purpose of you having a pedigree full of stacked pedigrees when you got to take a day or two to study your pedigree before you can get up here and talk about your pedigree? Because you don't know that pedigree, so you got to get up there and study, or what this dog coming off of. This dog coming off a rattler, this dog coming off of this or that. So I need to study this and study that to see what these traits is or see what that. Man, listen here. What's the purpose of dealing with dog men like that? You see, at the end of the day, man, like I said, the flunkies gonna be flunkies, the haters gonna be haters, and the dog game just keep going, man. This dog game just keep moving. Now, I do want to answer one question. I seen a brother ask, he spoke on what somebody was speaking on in the documentary when they said a cur, when they were speaking on a cur. And, he said a cur, well, I'm going to say it like this. What's a cur, man? Is it a dog that quits, or is it a dog that never started up? Now, some people will say a dog that never started is a cold dog. But I'm going to say this. You can't just put a dog that quits and says he's a cur. Because you get tired don't mean you're a cur. Don't mean you're a cur. Now, this is the deal. If you know your dog's tired, so you tell him this, and this is what some brothers, I done heard some brothers say. A cur is a cur, right? 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, whatever. Let me start off and ask you this. How many of y'all ever had one that go an hour, win an hour? How many of y'all ever had one that went hour and 30? Okay. May have a few, a good bit of brothers that may have went an hour and 30. How many of y'all brothers ever had one that went 2 hours? How many of y'all brothers ever had one that went 3 hours? Now, for a brother to say a dog that went an hour and a half, a dog that went 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, that quit is a cur, I don't think that's all the way right. Because at the end of the day, one dog gonna get tired. Because you got tired do not mean you curred out. Do not mean you curred out. Now, if you run, jump the box, it's a different story. Now, that also goes back to this point. If you see your dog is tired, he can't take no more. Every dog, and I'm putting it's either two ways you're gonna go out. If you get tired to the point where you can't go no more, either you're gonna DOA in the middle, you're gonna DOA in the middle, or you're gonna jump that box. When the brothers stop in the corner to take that line, they stopped because they was tired. But if a person who don't got a good eye keep letting their dog go, when that person who dog stopped in the corner and the other person keep letting their dog go, and you ain't grabbing on the handle back then, your dog might jump the box because you don't even got a good enough eye to get him in the corner to where he will stop in the corner. There's only two things they gonna do. They either gonna win it or they gonna lose it. And there's only two ways they're going to lose it. In that middle or jump across that damn square. Every one of them that stopped in that corner, they would have jumped that square if the brother wouldn't have had a good enough eye to take him to that corner. They would have jumped that square. So how can you call dogs losers when they tired? Half the time it's the owner of the dog that makes that dog look a certain kind of way, makes that dog look bad. You see a dog lost, you see pick him up, get up out of there. You know how many dogs that jumped that box, they could have got picked up and still took the loss? Still could have took the loss. Could have got picked up. They ain't had to jump the box. You mean to tell me you going to take one out, put one down that went 2 hours for you? You're not going to run across a dog that go 2 hours for you every single day. You're not going to do it. So you're going to put one down that goes 2 hours for you or went 2 hours for you back in them days. And you're going to never run across another one that go 2 hours for you again. You take them traits that dog got in him that go 2 hours and use them and build off of that. Now, different dogs cur out different ways. Some dogs, they got what they call light switches. They be on top. They winning on top. And all of a sudden, they break out and they try to run. That's different. You know, you got different situations. So just to say any dog that quit is a cur, you can't really say that in my opinion. You know, because a dog will quit when he gets tired. You'll quit when you get tired. You know, but do you feel like you a cur? What, you gonna just stand there and get beat up? You know, for the owner who know his dog is finished, and you just stand there and let your dog get beat up, that's a bad dog owner. You know, back then, you know, far as handler wise, you know, why would you sit there and let your dog go through that when you know he's already finished? That's when it comes to being green, a greenhorn, and knowing what you're doing when you got in that square. You know, it was a big difference. A big difference. So, you know, I'm not sure what the woman said on the documentary, but I know you can't just call a dog that quits a cur dog. You know, you can't call a dog that quits a cur dog because it could have been a bad keep on that dog. Dog could have had a bad keep on him. That's another thing that goes to the handler. The handler plays a lot of, he has to do with how that dog gonna turn out at the end of that show more than just what that dog do. You know, yeah, that dog's supposed to be Billy Badass, but if that handler ain't doing the right things with him, that dog can't do what he's supposed to do. And a lot of people put the whole situation on the dog, and the whole situation didn't go on the dog, and it still don't go on the dog. So, like I said, if you got a dog that it went 3 hours and he start running when he got tired, the dog's getting the best of him, he try to get up out of there. 3 hours, after 3 hours, you're going to put him down. And like I said, after 2 hours, you're going to put him down. A lot of people try to act like they've been to that level and try to play that tough role, like they say, you know, but they never been to that 2 hour mark. Never been to it. Win or lose, 2 hours, the dog did good. In my opinion, dog did good if he made the 2 hour mark. A lot of dogs won't make the 2 hour mark if the other dog wasn't doing nothing, just laying there letting them bite them. You know, the other dog could be doing nothing for the whole 2 hours. Your dog wouldn't make the 2 hour mark. And he wouldn't DOA him either. You know, he wouldn't put him down, he wouldn't finish him, and he wouldn't make the 2 hour mark. But you'll say one curved out because he made the 2 hour mark and he made a bad move or he did something wrong to make you lose. And like I said before, pride got a lot of dogs put down. Yeah, you lost a few thousand. You know, you lost a few thousand. But at the end of the day, you claim you still in the dog game and you buying dogs. Now you buying dogs that ain't on the caliber of the dog you put down just because. You know, just because. Now, let's move on a little bit, you know, because we're going to get into that Louisville, Kentucky dog stuff. Like I told my brothers, this news keep going. It don't stop with one person, you know. It don't stop with one person. And to all the flunkies that be down in the chats talking about, oh, he running out of content. Listen here, man. I ain't running out of content. I'm running out of content that y'all can copy, you know. Running out of content that y'all brothers can copy. So I put stuff out that ain't mentioning y'all name, ain't talking about y'all, can care less about y'all. Do what y'all do. I told them brothers, man, if I stopped mentioning them. I ain't mentioning them in going on a week now. You know, it kills them to not have nothing to talk about. If I ain't mentioning them, they got to figure out some kind of way to talk about the Bay. Some kind of way. Like I said, I'm just making content you can't copy. You know, being creative in ways you can't copy. I don't need 5 people on the panel. All I need is one brain. Like now I say, one mic. You know, that's all the Bay need, man. At the end of the day. Now we talking about that termite stuff. You know, I want to make a couple statements about the termite stuff because I know a few brothers that bred the termite directly and they bred the yellow directly. You know, and the dogs that they got off termite, they said was nowhere near the caliber that they got off yellow. And they bred the same bitch to termite that they bred the yellow. But like I said, this doesn't have say that termite wasn't a great dog. And sometimes we often wonder, did termite suffer from the lack of breeding syndrome? You know, where a great dog didn't get bred that much, you know, so years down the line, 30 years down the line, we look at it like maybe they wasn't producing as well, you know, or maybe they weren't producing dogs on that caliber. Maybe he suffered from not being bred as much, you know, because I have always heard that the brothers, you know, was selected breeding who he bred his dogs to. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was the situation when it came to the termite dogs. But I do know one brother that told me for himself he took one female, bred the termite, bred the yellow first, then he bred the termite. You know, and the dogs wasn't match quality dogs. You know, and I say that to say this, like I'm saying, I'm talking about one particular person that made their breedings that has nothing to do with termite as a whole, termite dogs as a mass. You know, because I know brothers who had champions off that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's get into that Louisville dog fighting bus. You know I always give it to you. You know where you get it from first. You know who you get it from, fair and uncut, raw and unbiased. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll copy this. They want to copy something. Maybe they'll copy this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, man, y'all brothers that ain't never been in the Pitbull game, y'all what y'all gotta do is start from the very beginning, man. Start from the very beginning. Get some of them Richard Stratton books for one. Do all your reading you gotta do, like the brothers say. Read your Richard Stratton books. You know, read your Diane Jessup books. You know, read whatever books you can read to get literature about these dogs. Not these gazettes. These gazettes give you a certain kind of literature, but you need old school literature. You need to learn about that history. Learn about that. Read all the Richard Stratton books. Then take you a couple years and just go and research pedigrees. Research pedigrees. Learn about this dog. Learn about these lines. Learn about that line before you start jumping on brothers who've been bulldogging their whole life. You know, it don't make sense. It don't make sense for you to jump on in a conversation, a bulldog conversation with brothers when you don't know who Jeep is, when you don't know who Finley Bow is. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. When you don't know who Mayfield's Duke is, you know, or Mayfield's nigga. If you don't know none of these dogs, and I'm just naming random dogs, because you would think anybody and everybody know who Red Boy Jeep, Eli, Jocko, Red Boy Jocko. They all claim they know them dogs. But you have to name out, like, I was surprised when the brother didn't know who one of the most famous dogs of Honey Bunch was. You know, and I was surprised when brothers didn't know who owned Eli, but yet you arguing with Pitbull brothers. I was surprised. So that's why I say, my brothers and my sisters out there, you know, take pride in your dogs. Take pride in whatever little Pitbull knowledge you got. And at the end of the day, don't be the one that you can't tell nothing to. Don't be the one that don't comprehend. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, brothers just have the strangest and the oddest ways of going about things these days, and especially when it comes to social media. You know, they count pockets. They do everything they can do, you know, to try to figure out what you're doing and how you're doing it. But yet they can't do it. There's a lane for everybody. Play your lane, and there's a lot of things for you to do in your lane. But when you try to play somebody else's lane, you always find yourself in a pickle, you know. And them boys, none of them boys don't want no smoke, man. Period. Period. And I don't want none either, because I done figured out, y'all ain't no bulldogs. I don't want no smoke on nobody who can't have dogs and who never bulldog before. All that's going to lead me with my dogs, and what I'm talking about is somebody trying to get me in trouble for nothing. You know, somebody trying to get me in trouble for nothing because of jealousy, because of envy, because of hate. And like I said, man, like I said before, don't talk me to death. I can't hear a lot of y'all boys, man. Get your count up, get your number up, and all that type of stuff, and then holler at the bait, man. Holler at PBK9s. At the end of the day, like I said, and get your dog game up. You know, get your dog game up. Get your dog talk up, man. Get your dog talk up. You can't even hold a conversation when it comes to these American Pitbull Terriers. Real American. That's why Chico said a long time ago, the real American Pitbull Terriers, because you got brothers out here with bullies and all kind of shit talking about their pit bulls. Yeah, they pit bulls in that category of all of them are pit bulls, but they ain't American Pitbull Terriers. You know, they ain't American Pitbull Terriers. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell brothers. They got standards for these dogs. Your dog's not in these standards, they're not pit bulls. It's not the papers that make your dog a pit bull, it's the standards. You know, if I could clearly look at your dog and see that this dog has bully bred in him, then I know that's not a pit bull. And like I said before, in this conversation, what we talking about right now with my brothers, when I say pit bull, I mean the real American Pit Bull Terrier. I'm not going to keep on saying American Pit Bull Terrier over and over and over and over. Pit bull, you know what I'm talking about, the real shit. You know, game dogs. But anyway, Louisville, dog fighting, bus. Keep this news going. CNN satellites from outer space. Giving it to you the way I always give it to brothers. CNN satellites from outer space. Y'all satellites must be in there. Y'all satellites ain't popping like them CNN satellites, man. You know, how brothers gonna call me and say they gonna do the news? They gonna do news too. They wanna do news too, and then turn around and try to talk trash about me the next day. Talk trash about me the next day. You can't do the news, homie. Homie, it ain't built in you. You know, the level of comprehension ain't there. Salute all my brothers down in the chat, all my sisters down in the chat. Don't forget to hit that like button. Salute all my brothers and sisters watching this video from afar. Let's get into it. We'll talk a little bit more about it when it's done. Louisville dog fighting bus.
Dogs are now on their way to finding better homes after a dog fighting ring is busted in the Taylor-Berry neighborhood. We thank you for staying with us here at 11. I'm Scott Reynolds.
And I'm Gilbert Corsi in for Lindsay Allen tonight. Our Katrina Nickel, found charged in this crime, is considered a big player in the dog fighting world. Katrina?
It's here down the 1300 block of Lillian Avenue where LMPD says they found 4 dogs and arrested Kareem Gardner for his alleged involvement in a dog fighting ring.
I mean, if the dog could talk.
It's the kind of details no proper dog owner can begin to understand.
She's a big baby, is what she is. And my Coco's.
Dogs living in feces-infested kennels, stuck in mud up their legs. It's the condition LMPD says they found 4 Pitbull-type dogs living in after receiving a very specific anonymous tip about a dogfighting ring in Kareem Garner's Taylor-Berry home.
It's horrific.
LMPD says it sees supplements, medications, weighted collars, carpet treadmills, dogfighting paperwork, and spring poles. Police say Garner's stature in the dogfighting world is considered prolific and well known in the region for dogfighting.
We need to make sure that we hold these people accountable. They're not good for our communities and they're not good for society.
State Representative Susan Whitten sponsored a bill expanding the definition of animal torture. The new law doesn't take effect until mid-July, but now makes animal abusers' first offense a felony instead of a misdemeanor. It's one of many attempts to improve Kentucky's ranking as one of the worst states in the nation for animal abuse.
And I don't like ranking so low in the state of Kentucky.
State Senator Greg Elkins tried to create harsher penalties for those engaging in animal fighting. His proposal did not pass this session, but says he's committed to strengthening the laws.
It's a despicable activity. It's an activity that's often we find garners other illegal activities surrounding animal fighting of any kind.
The 4 dogs found in this Taylorberry home are now at Louisville Metro Animal Shelter receiving treatment. Several have heartworms.
It's really sad.
Gardner is expected back in court on July 12th. In Louisville with photojournalist Greg Shapker, Katrina Nickel, WDRB News.
Why is
Once again, you saw and heard that them folks talking about papers and all this other stuff, you know, what they consider paraphernalia in this dog fighting situation. You know, like I said, we give you the history, and you got to get the history. But it's a necessity that brothers see what's going on in 2024 when it comes to these canines. You know, when it comes to these canines, you got to let these brothers know what they faced up against. You know, got to let them know. And how I know it's different, for a fact, because I done seen brothers my peers, my ages, you know, brothers same ages as me or a little older than me. I done seen brothers back in the 90s get busted. That same animal. I seen brothers that had dogs in the woods and they charged them for like having the dogs out there with nobody to take care of them. I seen them with that. I seen them bust up the actual dog fights going down at the time. All they get is tickets. And I'm talking about in my era. All they got was tickets. You know, they may go to jail, but you get a blue ticket to come home with. Not no real charge. You know what I'm saying? And then you can get your dog, if you did get your dog back from the dog pound, because there was a high chance you could, because I told y'all brothers before that we had a dog pound man connect. See, when you want to pick at the animal catcher, that's when it pays to have an animal catcher friend that works the animal catcher back in the 90s. You know, get your dog, pay your tickets. I mean, it is what it is. Now it's a whole different ball game. So you got to see that. You got to see the way it's going down in 2024. I can care less what you do, whether you make this move or make that move. It ain't. I'm not worried about that. I'm just here to get the news. You know what I'm saying? It's your choice to make the moves you want to make. You know? Your choice. I just know the importance of this news because I've been in the dog game. I did that. You know what I'm saying? Experienced that. Just like a lot of other brothers out there, a lot of other sisters out there. You know, but I love the breed just like a lot of other brothers and sisters out there. And I know if I want to continue to rock with this breed, to rock with these dogs, you got to do the right thing. You know, just plain out and simple. Plain out and simple, man. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, news keep coming. My content don't run out, you know. News don't run out, big homie, big homies. News don't run out. Them pedigrees do. I can talk that dog news for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? We know for a fact. There's going to be some dog news. As long as dogs exist in, you know, this world. As long as dogs exist in the world, it's going to be dog news. Whether it's good news or bad news. But sadly, you know, I'm sorry to say, you know, that these brothers only made a certain amount of breedings when it comes to them old school dogs. And we can only read so many pedigrees. I know we ain't got through all of them yet. We ain't got through all the pedigrees yet. We gonna check the pedigrees of the curs and everything in order to keep giving these pedigrees. Hey, man, salute to the brothers. Salute to the envious brothers out there. You know, that, hey, Like I said, when I was bulldogging, you was doing whatever you was doing. You know, when I was bulldogging, you couldn't come out the yard. You know, it's plain out and simple. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I was bulldogging, me and Bo was doing our things. When me and Bo was in the club chasing after them women, waiting on that show that next morning, you couldn't come out the house. You couldn't come out the yard. You was tucked in your bed, you know. Mama about to wake you up for school the next morning. But you want to talk about an APBT. Man, first of all, we got standards in this thing. Them standards going to always be what it is. You know, just because you want the standards to change, the standards don't change. You know what I'm saying? Standards don't change. And one thing about it, brothers who deal with pit bulls, you can shit yourself and say that you got a pit bull, but you can't shit them brothers that deal with pit bulls and say you got a pit bull. Because any of y'all brothers who just walk up to brothers and say, oh, this American pit bull tell you, and it's really not a pit, and you telling that to a pit bull brother, they know that's not a pit. It is not going to hurt your feelings. Some of them not. But hey, somebody got to tell them, man. Somebody got to tell them. Stay in your lane. You know, stay in your lane. You know, at the end of the day, y'all brothers, I'm going to keep giving y'all that news. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay legal out there. PBK9s, fresh off the press, CNN satellites from outer space, and I'm out.
In 1988, a fight broke out on the set during taping, and Geraldo was right in the middle of it.
I think you know when you watch Geraldo, you're getting someone who really is not afraid to get in there and get his hands dirty.
Obviously, many people do like him, but that hasn't stopped the sniping from TV critics who consider him the king of trash TV. Geraldo hopes most viewers look past the stunts and the shouting to find a worthwhile message in most of his shows.
There is a nugget of information. There's a nugget of information. People walk away from this program with something being learned. It's not like a soap opera in that sense, which are the competing programs to daytime talk shows.
Geraldo doesn't know how long talk shows like his will be in vogue, but he says as long as there's freedom of speech, he'll be giving the people what they want with no apology.